I was sitting here for you. We were made to love. We were made to love. You were sent for me too.
Welcome to the March Against Monsanto 2016 video from Boston, Mass, USA. In this video, I'm going to document what took place on May 21st, 2016 in Boston as we marched for our food safety and against Monsanto's practices. In this video, we're going to cover what took place that day, why it took place, and how it took place. And thank you for all those who came out and supported us, because I am only here organizing this march because of all your past efforts in previous years. So thank you to everyone who came out and supported us this year and in years past. I'm going to start this film off with one of my favorite quotes. "Take away my right to protect my family. Take away my right to feed my family. Take away my rights and created the most lethal soldier the world has ever seen. The American Patriot." And though we were fewer in number this year, I am reminded of this quote by Plato, who told us from the very beginning of time that those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. And that's exactly what we had going on at the March Against Monsanto. Those who were able to see the truth, trying to inform the masses who are blinded to it. Another voice screams at us from the history of our great city, Boston, and it's the voice of Samuel Adams, who reminds us, "It does not take a majority to prevail, but an irate, tireless minority keen to set brush fires of freedom in the minds of men." And that's exactly what we had at the March Against Monsanto, Boston. So here's our final group, basically. This is the best shot I got of everyone together at once. And we all marched from here at Copley Square to the Boston State House at 1 o'clock. All these people were there throughout the day. They're helping to spread information about GMOs or try to get people to join us from the crowd. Every one of these people was great and helped me out huge, and I'd like to send out a huge thank you to all of you, especially the cool dude with the beard in the back, right in the middle. He helped me out big time by walking with my girlfriend who had my baby in a stroller, and I got like a little ahead of everyone. So him and my girlfriend ended up carrying up the rear of the march. So thank you to everyone who came, and sorry I don't have more photos. And most of the stuff was actually taken from my phone, just out of improvisation. And basically, I tried to get everyone to submit me their names. If their names wasn't already on stuff like this, I did not add it to this video. But I tried to just name the people that wanted to have their names in the video. So if I did not add your name and you want it and you were at this march, please just drop me a link or send me an email at imperatortruth@startmail.com, and I will add your name to the video on a re-upload. So basically the first people to show up, other than Jazzy, myself, and the Food Not Bombs guys, were these great-grandparents. I don't know if they want their name attached to this because they didn't join up on Facebook and all that, so I'm not going to add it, but they're great people, and the guy with the beard was the granddad, and they brought their granddaughter, so thank you for coming out. One of the awesome activists who came out to support us was David Rolday, who's an anti-GMO activist, and he's for Free Palestine, which is another good cause. He also informed me that the previous year's march, which I caught the tail end of, I didn't get to see the actual march itself, I was just there for the talks, had roughly 300 people when they marched from the State House to Copley. So I'd like to correct that from my previous video where I said it was only about 70. So thank you, David, for that little bit of information. As always, a huge part of our group was the Anonymous family, so I'd like to thank you for all coming out, and these 5 individuals on the screen were all there to help support us from Anonymous. The first people there were Matt and James from Food Not Bombs, and that homeless guy there was dancing with us pretty much all morning long. Also there was Monsanto's #1 fan. I'm just not sure if she wants her name on this, so I'm just going to leave it as that. And she was awesome. Thank you for coming out. This photo was submitted to me by Maria Avendano, and also in the photo on the far left is Anita Privet. And I don't have the name of the man to the right. It wasn't added to the email, but thank you very much for submitting this. Also in attendance was Margaret Alexander, who came out and is an anti-GMO activist and a Bernie Sanders supporter. So thank you very much for coming out and helping us spread GMO awareness. So this dude was just walking by us on our way to Earthfest, and I'm not sure if he wants his name in this video, but he's a pretty cool dude. I saw him wearing a I am not Roundup Ready shirt, and I was like, hey, you want to come march with us at 1? And he was like, hell yeah, so he joined us. So the first people at the march, other than the Food Not Bombs guys who beat us there, was my girlfriend Jazzy and my daughter Maddie Bear, who you see in the photo. And I'd like to give a big thank you to both of them for coming out and supporting me that day. Without Jasmine's support, I never could have put this on, and they are just the best. They're absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, and this entire march is really about my daughter and ensuring that she can grow up in a world where she doesn't have to worry about what's in her food. So my involvement in the March Against Monsanto went from participant to lead organizer after I made this documentary, and a discussion got started about how there was no march plan for this year. So I woke up originally because I was driving to the gym one day and I saw people protesting 9/11, which made me go home after the gym and look up what they were protesting about 9/11, which then led me down a series of rabbit holes to where I am today. Now, it's very important for us to go out there and reach people in this manner, in my opinion. So just to show you how you go from making a video to being an organizer, this is how it happens. So I posted the video, and then the previous year's organizer contacted me saying she had moved to Europe and needed me to basically take over. So I basically said, that's crazy, we really need to get it going, and the conversation continued on, and I basically just said, it looks like it's up to me, so I'm going to pick up the torch and relight it and get this thing going again. So I created the Facebook event for March Against Monsanto. I used some of my own money to promote it through boost promotions on the post. We eventually got it to invite to 1.7 thousand people, which is quite a lot of people. Of that, 79 people said they would go. I would say of those 79, only about 20 actually went, and 178 people showed interest. Just shows me that we could get quite a lot more people if we spread it. So I posted a plan online and we all discussed it, and there was some changes in the time. We went from marching at 4 to marching at 1, but the basic plan was to set up at Copley Square and then use that venue to gather people to our cause throughout the day. And we needed our supporters there in order to do this, and everyone showed up and helped me out greatly with this, and were able to inform a large amount of the public as they passed by us on that day. So in years past, we actually met at the State House and then marched from the State House down to Copley, and I wanted to do the opposite this year because I felt Copley would have more passers-by that weren't on a mission to get somewhere, but were just sort of walking around shopping. Also, it's a straight shot from Copley up Boylston right to the park, which makes it then easy to find the giant gold dome of the state capitol building. So that was my plan. I also wanted to have people stand by the different major T stations in order to get people to join us and hand out flyers and stuff like that, but we just didn't have the numbers to do that this year. Hopefully next year we can get people at some of the major T stations throughout the day to gather people. And here you can see the image I created and the march route that we planned and actually did use. So we started at Copley, and then we marched right through the park, basically exactly as you're seeing there, right up to the State House. And we finished at the State House, where people continued the rally, and they were there for probably a little while to continue informing the public. So that was the plan. But of course, like all things that I plan, nothing actually goes according to plan, because I'm an anarchist, and anarchists are basically not able to coincide with plans very well. So let's see how the day actually began off for me as I was driving to the march. Pulled over for doing 72 in a 55, where everyone drives 70-something miles an hour. So when we first got there, we didn't realize they'd shut the park for the day, and we didn't see anyone. So I took a picture of the statue and posted it on the Facebook page saying to meet by this. And we met near this statue of John Copley, and we were the first ones there other than Food Not Bombs. So seemingly people were still having a hard time finding us, so Jazz and I took this photo and posted it on the Facebook page which will allow everyone to figure out who we are and where we were in the park, and then soon the Food Not Bombs guys came over and joined us. One of the first things we did with the Food Not Bombs guy was set up this mural on a bench, and they were given this by the previous people that ran Food Not Bombs. And this little mural on a bed sheet has all types of little pieces of food and little hidden gems in the image. So if you take a really close look, you'll see some pretty funny little things that people hid in this image. So I definitely suggest that you pause this video and try to find out what I'm talking about, because some of them made me laugh pretty good. At this point, James and Matt set up their Food Not Bombs stand and started distributing the food they brought to the homeless and other passerbys that wanted food. And honestly, you could hear James from the entire area. He was the loudest person there. The homeless really took a liking to us, and this guy in the middle of the picture came over and was dancing with us basically all morning because he was so happy to have some people there just to interact with. So it was a really good time and definitely worth the effort. So I thought, just to help spread a little bit of awareness for Food Not Bombs, whose little painting image logo thing is here on the screen, so we did a little interview with those guys.
Here at March Against Monsanto, we have Food Not Bombs. And from Food Not Bombs, we have
Matt.
And I'm James.
And why are you guys here at the march today?
So one of our purposes as Food Not Bombs is supporting broadly the left protest movement and efforts to basically make the world a better place, especially focusing on food justice issues.
And what is Food Not Bombs exactly?
So what Food Not Bombs does is we take donations from grocery stores, basically of food that would otherwise get thrown away, and we work to redistribute it, and so that we can get food and resources to everybody in the community.
I just wanted to say though, it's actually not grocery stores. So we get our food from Food for Free is huge. They donate tons of food to us. Brookline Food Co-op donates a ton of food to us. And then we also, most of this today is from Food Links over in Arlington. So if you're interested in food justice issues, specifically in the distribution of food and the amount of food that goes to waste and the amount of people who go hungry, those three organizations are top notch.
Right. And the food rescues are they're the food rescue groups.
Yeah, they do the food rescue they get the food from bakeries, from restaurants, from colleges, supermarkets, anywhere and everywhere, all throughout the city.
Perfect. Okay, so how can people support Food Not Bombs that are watching this video?
If you go to fnbboston.org, that's our website. We have a Facebook group. If you join the Facebook group, Boston Food Not Bombs, you'll get an invitation to the meal and to the meeting. We do a weekly meeting, which is where all of our decisions are made on a consensus-based decision-making process. Because we, as a group, are structured in a non-hierarchical manner. So if you want to get involved at that level, you can go to the meeting. It's every Wednesday at Encuentro 5 at 7 o'clock. And then every Saturday at Central Square in Cambridge, we do a meal at 1 to 4. So if you want to come out to the meal and help serve food, come get to know us. And we're trying to grow as an organization. We want to do more meals a week, so the more volunteers, the better.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you guys very much for coming out, and hopefully we can all work together towards a better future.
Hell yeah.
So all the links to the Food Not Bombs things will be in the video description. So please go ahead and check out those links and check out Food Not Bombs and try to help them out. I might try to go to a meeting or two throughout the year, and I'm thinking about putting on an Operation Safe Winter event with them in the fall. So hopefully we can work together with them in the future. So getting back to the march, before the march actually began, there was a big discussion on our Facebook page about the use of megaphones in Boston because, as you could see from a previous video of mine, the police regularly threaten people with arrest for using megaphones if they're using megaphones to protest things that do not align with the state. So I wrote this next letter to them in order to avoid any problems beforehand. In this letter, which I circulated to the Boston Police Department and then later to Boston City Council and the mayor and got some responses at a city council, basically read as such. Dear Boston PD, we have reviewed the city ordinance in reference to using sound amplification devices, and we feel we need a noise permit to use our megaphones on May 21st. However, there is no way to apply for said permit. There must be a way to apply for a permit if you require a permit to use sound amplification devices. I searched every government and Boston Police website and found no such form anywhere. The whole point of protesting is to reach a large audience of people that are walking around. The need to amplify our voices is directly related to our ability to exercise our First Amendment rights. The March Against Monsanto group meeting on May 21st at Copley Square, then marching to the State House. We will not block traffic and will be extremely respectful. To address our grievances against the state, we would like permission to use sound amplification devices, megaphones, beforehand, as we do not want to violate the city ordinance. If you could please help us in acquiring this permit, it would certainly lead to a much better representation of the desires of the public you serve. Please let me know if there's anything we need to do in order to get said noise permit, so we may address the public and use our First Amendment right to ask for redress to our grievances in a public area without being threatened with fines. The police benefit directly because GMOs are bad for everyone. We are marching for your health and your right to know what is in your food. I would hope you would not only let us use our megaphone devices, but join us as we are all Americans who just want to know what's in our food. We highly welcome any police who want to join our march for their own food safety. It is a very peaceful, very respectful event, and we will not cause any problems. Thank you so much for your assistance. I hope to hear back from you, Dean Fougere. And I never heard back from the police. I did hear back from Boston City Council, and they basically told me to screw. So in summation, in order to avoid any problems with the police state we currently live in, we decided not to use megaphones, and I have written a letter about this, asking for a redress to this grievance as well. Now let's get back to the march and see how it started.
This is the start of March Against Monsanto, Boston. About an hour in, and we got about 8 people here so far, including Food Not Bombs, which is one of the main contributors. They're handing out free food. Basically, it's food that was going to be tossed, but is being saved and given out to homeless or anyone that wants it for free. It's a really good idea. And this is our march so far.
So there was a bunch of discussion on Facebook because we were somewhat hard to find, as the park normally looks like this, seen behind with no fences and people being able to sit in the grass. But of course, the day we were there, that's not exactly what it looked like. It looked like this image where it's all fenced off and people were having trouble finding us, even though we were in a small group over by the statue. So I apologize to anyone that had difficulty finding us that day or could not find us. So the march continued on for a long while, and we kept spreading awareness and telling people what was going on. I was trying to tell people mainly about how Roundup and other things like that kill the probiotics in the gut, which causes all types of problems. Also how glyphosate is a cancer-causing agent. Basically, we just spent the day trying to gather as many people to our cause as possible and growing our group as big as possible throughout the day. So at the end of it, we ended up with a very good group of people that all did a great job spreading GMO awareness and awareness about the food industry to everyone that passed by. So I'm very proud of everyone, and next we're going to take a look at the final group that marched.
All right. So this is the group we have. Everyone is here for the march, and we're just about to begin at 1 o'clock. So this is the March Against Monsanto Boston group. Very nice. Perfect.
So I wrote a speech, and I decided not to use the written speech and just speak from the heart because I felt that would be more meaningful. I will read to you the entire speech that I wrote at the end of this video, just because I think I had some important things to say in it, but here's the little speech that I did give that day. Hope you enjoy.
We see darkness coming in the future. Abraham Lincoln talked about a time when corporations would be enthroned, when the banking system would work upon the prejudices of the people
to enthrone themselves over us and enslave us. That time is now. We need to end it together. We can't be divided over political candidates or any of that crap. We're here about Monsanto to inform the public. When the storm says to the warrior, be scared, the warrior says to the storm, I am the storm. Let's march.
After my little speech, we started our march from Copley to the State House, and that went really well, except I went too quickly and lost some of the people in the back. After we got to the State House, I doubled back to find my girlfriend Jazzy and the cool guy with a beard, and then I went back up to the State House to get some interviews with people before I took off for the day. So I hope you enjoy these little interviews and messages people had for Monsanto.
And this is the end of the march.
One hand, there you go.
Anything anyone wants to say for the video? Want to say anything? Got a message?
How Monsanto stop poisoning us.
Great. What's your message to Monsanto?
Farms.
Yeah, man. Do you have anything to say to Monsanto for the video?
Monsanto's got to go.
Hell yeah.
Now. Need clean, natural food.
Perfect. Would you like to say anything for the video to Monsanto?
Probably just what everybody else has already said, that Monsanto is making us all sick. We need
Perfect.
real food.
Perfect. Every voice counts. Thank you. So, any of y'all like to say anything for the video to Monsanto before I bounce?
You know to name brand foods and GMOs. Buy organic, local, pure food. Say no to GMOs.
Is it on?
Yeah.
People need to learn about genetics and about the species barrier, known from God as the kingdom barrier, and how in order for mutations to work, they had to break that. And that's the biggest problem. It can contaminate any other thing with genetics, so one genetic chain mutated can mutate any other living thing. When your children uptake this crap and go on in life with it, they're going to express a mess inside themselves. And it's the most complex thing to work it back out. Easy to break, hard to fix. You've got children with psychiatric problems from infections that got into them because think about it, genetically modified Roundup Ready seeds are meant to express glyphosate in every single cell. So when the insect bites it, it makes a tiny explosion, which explodes their stomach. That insect took one bite. Your child takes thousands a day. Welcome to diverticulitis.
Perfect. Exactly.
That was deep. I don't want to get that in depth with it, but as far as Monsanto is concerned, there's a lot I still need to learn. But in a nutshell, everybody, we all got a part to play and educate ourselves, learn and be objective with things, and not let your emotions get involved, and just be open-minded, be open to the truth. The truth ain't easy to swallow, but it'll set you free.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
You got anything to say to Monsanto?
Fuck you.
Perfect.
That's not nice, Dave.
That's concise.
Say it loud enough.
Do you got anything to say before I bounce?
The same shit.
Same shit. Fuck them. Perfect. All right.
Power to the people.
Very nice. Scared the shit out of snakes, but that was too close for me. All right, and that was March Against Monsanto.
Do you want to talk about it?
You don't want to. Do you not know what you're talking about?
Scientists running away from a debate. All right, and that was March Against Monsanto 2016. Oh, one more person. Would you like to say anything to Monsanto?
To Monsanto?
Yeah, for the video.
You won't post what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I will. I'll post
Fuck
anything.
you, bitches!
Yep, fuck Monsanto. Perfect.
Fuck Monsanto. And anyone that supports them.
That's you, Kevin Folta. All right, see ya. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're not going home yet.
At this point, I'd like to thank everyone who came out to the march very sincerely. I really appreciate all the help that you guys gave, and even the people that didn't show up that supported us online. I appreciate that as well. I'd like to thank all the non-GMO farmers and people who put their livelihoods at risk in order to provide us clean, healthy food. Now I'm going to end this video with the speech, the full speech that I wrote for the march. This was the background to the speech I'm about to read. I found a whole bunch of pictures of the 2016 March Against Monsanto, so please enjoy those in the background. Why are we here? We've seen beyond the lies of our culture, and we feel it is a moral obligation to inform those that have not. Do not be dismayed at our small numbers or any negative responses from passerbys, for since the very beginning of modern society have those who tried to inform the larger public been ridiculed. Plato said, "Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses." So as we find ourselves surrounded by members of our culture today, I remind you to try and reach them with patient but persistent vigor, for the situation we find ourselves in is hard to understand all at once from a sign and a protester. Normally I find someone else has already said it best, so I will quote President Abraham Lincoln, who foresaw the times we find ourselves in today. "I see in the near future a crisis approaching that unnerves me and causes me to tremble for the safety of my country. Corporations have been enthroned, an era of corruption will follow, and the money power of the country will endeavor to prolong its reign by working upon the prejudices of the people till the wealth is aggregated in a few hands and the republic destroyed. Is this not the situation we see ourselves in now, where politicians lie and work against our prejudices in order to enact agendas we are not privy to? Has the government not become the partner and representative of the large central banks and corporations like Monsanto against the best interests of the people? Isn't this partnership the very definition of fascism? Unfortunately, the answer to these questions is yes. We have assembled here in Boston, the birthplace of liberty, in the great United States of America, to exercise what our forefathers died for, the right to freedom of speech. Long ago our ancestors realized that the government did not provide us with our rights, but that our natural rights were endowed to us at birth by our Creator, and the government was created in order to protect those rights as they inherent at birth. The rights are laid out in the Bill of Rights in the U.S. Constitution, and serve not as the granting of our rights, but the acknowledgement and enforcement of them. This is the social contract we entered that created a government designed to protect those rights above all else. Today I speak to you, and we all speak as one voice, demanding changes in our government's actions, as we have many grievances regarding our food safety, thus our health. As the government becomes increasingly fascist, as corporate claws dig deeper into the lobby of telemarketers called the U.S. Congress, the people must unite evermore to be heard. What is it we want our representatives to hear? We demand to know what is in our food. GMOs are not safe to eat and should be marked with warning labels similar to what is found on cigarette boxes. The World Health Organization declared Roundup, aka glyphosate, to be a known carcinogen. Therefore, GMOs that are Roundup ready and covered in glyphosate are toxic to our health and should be labeled as such. We demand that if they are using known carcinogens on the food supply, such as glyphosate, those practices be stopped and investigated. We know from countless studies that GMOs have increased the global use of glyphosate, pesticides, and herbicides. GMOs have been directly tied to colony collapse disorder, Thus, they are killing the very honeybees we need to survive as a species. Their answer to the problem? To genetically modify mosquitoes to replace the honeybees. From one perversion to the next, without one thought of, if we can't fix it, then we shouldn't break it. We are talking about letting a company alter the very fabric of our planet's life, the very essence of what defines us, without having any idea what the consequences will be. My child, just born a few months ago, already will never see the world so full of beauty and wonderment that I grew up with. We have let corporations for profit kill, now on average, 150 to 200 species a day. That is more genetic variation than Monsanto could ever possibly hope to recreate in some lab. We demand that Monsanto and other GM manufacturers are held accountable in criminal court and their products be fairly tested before being allowed into public consumption. We demand the revolving door between corporate entities and the FDA and other regulatory agencies be closed permanently. We demand transparency regarding any trade deals or treaties such as the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Only evil requires the cover of darkness, and restricting access to legislation tells me the legislation is being hidden from those it hurts. That would be the American people. Unless you can show us the TPP and what is in the deal, we do not want it. Transparency is key to the democratic process. It is time we reminded our elected officials that we the people are the power in this republic. Aaron Swartz, one of Boston's best young minds and one of the most influential people to ever come out of the city, dubbed the Internet's own boy, was forced into suicide by the state's justice system and Carmen Ortiz over downloading too many academic journals. Aaron spoke out about why information was so important, and for merely sharing information, the local Massachusetts authorities punished and removed from us one of our greatest minds. Information like what is in the food we are eating is being denied from us for corporate profit. Aaron fought back against this system with the tools he had available, and for this he is dead. Aaron said the following, and let it not be forgot. Information is power, but like all power, there are those who want to keep it for themselves. The world's entire scientific and cultural heritage, published over centuries in books and journals, is increasingly being digitized and locked up by a handful of private corporations. Those with access to these resources get to feed at this banquet of knowledge while the rest of the world is locked out. We need to fight for guerrilla open access. With enough of us around the world, we'll not only send a strong message opposing the privatization of knowledge, we'll make it a thing of the past. Isn't that what we're all here for? To end the privatization of knowledge about what is in our food, about what is in these TPP trade deals being written for the corporate, unaccountable giants like Monsanto? It is the information that Monsanto wants hidden because information is power, and if people knew what was in their GMO food, they wouldn't eat it. We may be David in this equation, but our rocks are the truth, and we will win. How does Monsanto have the right to patent DNA, therefore life? The Human Genome Project, considered a leader in the field of genetics, has only decoded less than 10% of the human DNA strain. In plants, it is a little bit more decoded. How can a company patent genetically modified plants' DNA if they do not know what 90% or more of the DNA they are patenting does? To assume it is junk DNA is the height of human ignorance, as new information about DNA is coming out daily. The field of epigenetics, which is brand new, is studying the effects of our environment on the human genome. Thus, this food that is genetically altered could be permanently altering parts of the human DNA code that is not yet decoded. How could anyone allow the human race to be possibly altered without even considering the implications of what they are doing? Never before has our children's futures been so dark. Never before in history would the United States Congress even consider passing a bill titled Dark Act, Deny Americans Right to Know. How could any of these so-called elected representatives sleep at night after promoting such a bill? We demand an end to the TTIP and the TTP. Both are international trade deals being conducted in the dark because they are evil. Only evil requires the cover of darkness. The truth does not fear the light of public scrutiny, but welcomes it. The fact they will not let anyone read this legislation means it does not serve the public's best interest, and therefore we do not want to enter into their non-representative treaties that only benefit multinational corporations who have no allegiance to America. This is the problem: our policies being set by individuals who consider themselves, as our President Obama said himself, members of the global neighborhood. Well, I'm an American. I'm not an advocate of your tyrannical United Nations that we do not vote for. Get your international trade deals and your United Nations policies out of America where they do not belong. This isn't the United States of Monsanto, and it's time to remind the corporations that we have the ultimate power by voting with our dollars. That's right. You want to hear my solution? It's not up to the people sitting on Capitol Hill to save us from ourselves. Statism is a false religion, and we need to take the responsibility on ourselves. No one is forcing you to eat GMO food. No one is forcing anyone to eat it. The only thing government can do is force labels, change the school and government food programs over to non-GMO food. The rest is on us, as far as I can tell. If everyone stopped buying GMO food and GMO products, Monsanto would vanish or have to change business models, maybe back to making Agent Orange or whatever evil thing they get into next. We need to vote with our dollars to buy only food that is organic or non-GMO certified, and the GMOs will vanish. So the solution to our problem lies within. Every time you buy food, it is up to you. Every purchase is a part of the ever-going battle for our health. We can win this. It has always been our choice. As Margaret Mead once said, never doubt a small group of committed, thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. We are winning the battles. Monsanto has had to spend lots of their money to hire internet trolls, hire fake scientists, and to sue farmers. The more the truth is known, the more Monsanto has to use tactics to hide the truth. Fortunately for us, the truth is like a lion. You don't need to defend it. Never let someone tell you you're not having an effect. For every person who scoffs at me and sneers at my anonymous mask, I wake a few more surrounding them up. We are winning this battle. GMO shares are down across the board. McDonald's got so desperate they added breakfast all day. Pathetic. Voting with our dollars is winning. Now we just need more people to do the same. If everyone bought organic, then organic products would be all there was. Government won't fix what we must fix ourselves. Thank you for all coming out here today, and I'll add watching to this video. Let's change the world so our children can experience the wondrous world we had the opportunity to experience before we make the choices that we cannot undo. As we now head out to the march to the Boston State House, I would like to end with this. Quote, "Fate whispers to the warrior, you cannot withstand the storm. The warrior whispers back,
I am the storm.
Lights on, got my bright song, got a tight grip on me like a python. I remember there's a reason that I write songs, cutting through the darkness, trying to right wrongs. I got a world to save, I got a job to do. You gotta like mine, wanna talk to you. Don't just wanna talk, wanna walk the truth. And all that I do, put my heart into. I'm risking my neck out of love and respect. On another level, wanna take it to the next. Putting all the so-called kings in check, with all of my soldiers on deck. I'll be on the front line like I'm Joan of Arc. Bright sparks that I'm known to start. Taking charge and I'm leaving a mark. They're bumping this shit up in Mars, taking it far. Speaking from planet Earth, she's being hurt and I'm fighting for her. Light warrior, I will not desert. I be out here putting in work, speaking the truth, reaching the youth. Speaking to them and I'm speaking to you. Whole lot of work that we all need to do. Time that we all come through and make moves. No more days of doing nothing, no more watching from the side. There's a war between good and evil. It's time that you decide. When they got you in that crowd, do you bow or do you rise? Are you one of those who resists or who complies? No more time here for denial, no more swallowing their lies. No more fueling this monstrosity that preys on our demise. It's time we take this outside and open up our eyes. Identify the strings and cut the ties.